Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Vegas Confessions. This is episode 105, and I'm your host, Kelly, along with...
I'm Jay. What is up, my friends, and welcome back. Man, another work trip in the books, in for a quick 4-day trip. Got a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. I had 3 concerts, 2 must-visit restaurants to tell you about. I went to the Great Onesie Bar Crawl. Also, I wanted to mention the slot tournament that's happening at the Wynn. $250,000 slot tournament, but the community had something to say about this.
The community had quite a bit to say about this one.
All of that right now on the Vegas Confessions podcast.
Let's go.
Hey there, everyone. This is Matt Bridger, and you are listening to the Vegas Confessions podcast.
Didn't we go to my favorite dive bar before that? We went to Double Down.
Double Down Saloon. Yeah, we had some ash juice.
I am all about ash juice. Yeah, baby.
You guys need to go check that room. There's like a dead guy in the bed. And the lady at the counter says, "Well, we'll call housekeeping." Like, housekeeping?
Jay's never met an asshole he didn't like. Shout out to the guy at third base at the blackjack table I was at last, who was obviously trying to keep a high-low count, but was mouthing the numbers as the cards were being turned over.
Be careful what you say, because we can have you whacked.
Hey, I'm Nicky Firmich, and you're listening to the Vegas Confessions podcast.
So before we jump into anything, we have to start off with our Patreon shout-outs, and we do have to give a special Patreon shout out to our newest member who just joined, Josh Parm. Josh Parm, thank you for your donations and your support, but honestly, babe, he sent us a story yesterday that I have to mention, and this guy, he actually became a Patreon member the day I went to Vegas, so I couldn't really address this. I hadn't done videos or a podcast since, but this story's awesome. So a little background story on Josh. He's been catching up on all the old school episodes, right? So right now he's on episode 88, and I believe that's the one where he mentions that we talked about scams and stuff in Las Vegas. He had a funny story where he mentions, my wife and I got stopped one time by a timeshare dude outside of Excalibur back in 2019. Now, we weren't married at the time, but apparently for the timeshare seminars, they were only accepting married couples. The guy said no worries, just to buy some sort of rings and say we got married in Vegas and they'd let us into the seminar, no problem. Well, we got some rings and got a lift, went to the place that was on the opposite end of town, nowhere near where we were staying on the strip, some kind of smaller hotel. We get checked in, and let's just say it didn't work out at all. They didn't believe that we got married in Vegas, but they did ask us who sent us in and how they found out where we were located. They apologized for everything, gave them their money back, gave them some slot play and food vouchers and tickets for the Tournament of Kings, right? Hooked these guys up and even paid for their lift that they had to pay for to get there and get back.
That was very gratuitous.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to add on top of it, he sends me a picture. And he sends me a picture of the rings. And the rings, funny enough, they say Las Vegas on the back of them, but they're actually bottle opener rings, which is freaking hilarious in itself. And so he sends us a picture of the rings with him and his wife and a picture of the background of their self in Vegas. I just thought that was hilarious. And again, it's just those stories that people can relate to, right? Timeshare people get you sometimes, and they got us.
I wish that would have happened to us.
Yeah, right?
We
just kicked us out.
And we didn't even have rings on or anything. And they were like, no, you're fine. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we got screwed, probably about $3,000 worth. And then finally I was like, I'm just going to stop paying this. And then it, but.
Interesting. Yeah. It's just, it happens to everybody, right? Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. So Josh.
Young and dumb.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We learned.
So they got lucky. Josh got lucky.
And again, Josh, thank you for supporting the show and everything we do here. We love this stuff. And he said, obviously, a lot of great things about you. He loves your laugh, Kelly. He loves the stories, and he loves that we're just blunt and straight up about everything that happens in Vegas. And he says that it's just stories that he can relate to. So he really enjoys the podcast. That's why we do it, right?
That's why we do it. I'm glad you like to listen to our stories.
Right.
Sometimes cool. They're extravagant and sometimes they're just...
Sometimes in unfortunate situations, right? So again, thank you for becoming a Patreon member and supporting everything we do here. And if you guys are interested, you can check out our Patreon memberships where we add your name to the video credits and give you shout outs on the podcast like these awesome folks.
Eric Rosenthal,
Michael Traeger from the Zortcast podcast,
David Soel,
Scott Jarvis,
Renee Hale,
Mike Cunningham,
Taylor Jew,
Travis Atherton,
Neil Macedo,
The Crybaby Vegas,
Rodney Kelly,
Scott and Lisa Wingfield,
Atlantic City J,
our good friend Saul,
Bobby G,
Graham from the Cheftimony podcast,
Jana Gerard,
and our newest member, Josh Parm. Thank you, folks. You folks are awesome. So I get into town on a Saturday night, right? I went earlier than we anticipated. We thought we were going to go a few days later. I ended up going earlier just to get stuff done. You stayed back to help Mom get ready for Thanksgiving.
Right.
So I went out there. The night I went out there, turns out Stone Temple Pilots were performing live on Fremont Street for free, obviously, on the stage. So I was headed out there. Sean and his wife Amy were having their anniversary dinner at Barry's. We've mentioned them before and how Jonathan from the Plaza is like, Jay, you got to hang out with this guy, right?
Yeah.
Every time, once a month, I've been hanging out with this guy since. Super good people. And I didn't know it was their anniversary dinner. I thought it was just them and friends having a group get together at Barry's. So he's like, hey, Jay, come meet us over here. So as I told him I'm getting to Plaza, he walks over and meets me at Plaza. And then we walk over back to Barry's. But I've never been there, right? So this is inside of Circa. And we go in there, babe. This place is immaculate, beautiful, right? They just finished their food. And I had got there and they were bringing out all like the desserts. Mm-hmm. They had these s'mores come out with these little fire pits and people can roast their own marshmallows. Yeah, it was super cool. And then they had these different platters of assorted cakes, but it looked like it was only carrot cake and cheesecake, which are my two favorites. And they're like, hey, Jay, they brought way too many. So we sat there for a bit and they wanted to go to the concert. Now, mind you, Sean knows everybody just like we, right? So he knows Derek very well. We get over to the D. Derek's at the bar. Sean and him say hi. They give us these badges. We go outside on this stage balcony that they have outside of the D so you can see the concert right in front.
Yeah.
There is thousands of people on Fremont Street.
I bet.
It is crazy packed. Concert was great. It was a lot of fun. Afterwards, they're like, hey, Jay, let's go. We're going back to Circa. I'm like, okay, well, going back to Circa. So I end up hostage with these guys. We end up in a limo from Circa and get hauled over to Resorts World.
Right.
Apparently, Ludacris was performing that night there at Zook nightclub, right? You want to talk about, this will help you determine when you're starting to feel old or not. Now, mind you, Sean's friend from California is a nightclub guy, right? Runs nightclubs. So he knows the people out here. So literally we walking past this line that's outside of the building, right?
Yeah.
It's only like 11:30. We get in there, babe. This place is going nuts. I mean, there's people everywhere, bottle service. I mean, drink. I mean, everything's happening nonstop. Right. Smoke being pushed down from the ceiling. Lights are going off everywhere. And I mean, just the vibe in there was crazy. But everybody was having fun. There was no problem. Security, everybody was super cool. You guys need anything? Like, it was super cool to see it firsthand.
Right.
But boy, that's not for me. Oh shit. It was a whole different ballgame, babe. Like, you're talking,
a little overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah.
The drinks, the people waiting at bars just to get a drink, and then they'd have a group of friends that they're trying to get drinks for. But people also didn't notice there's a back bar in Zook nightclub where if you're gonna go to the restroom or exit, there's another bar, a circular bar. Most of the people were stopped at the front bar, so it crammed the walkway in and the dance, or in the whole entryway. Nobody was at the back bar. So people started realizing and ventured over that way. But this place, babe, you want to talk about over the top.
Yeah.
Music, I mean, it sounded great. Just the people, I mean, lights.
And did Ludacris come and perform live?
Craziness. Craziness. As soon as it started, we got out. We're like, nope. I mean, they just kept flooding people in. I mean, and from what I understand, it's not cheap to get in these places either, right? So I was like, holy shit, the amount and turnover of what they had going on that night. It was interesting to see. You hear about it, and we've talked to Mark about it before on the show, and Sydney went and told us about it. But I mean, to see it, it's like, this is a lot. This is a lot.
And I don't think it was anything compared to like when even Sid went, because she said it was, they had went like, and it was a little dead even, you know, when she went. But when you have a performer that is known that's coming in, I think sure it gets...
At one of the newer places. Oh, yeah. It makes a difference, right? Yeah, so that was freaking over the top.
And it would make a difference for you because you didn't wait in line. You know,
we walked straight in. Yeah, it was... It
makes a difference on your outlook on would I go back.
Well, and not only that, you have to you got to anticipate that waiting game beforehand. I mean, those people probably
and the
waited.
cost and things like that. And drinks are probably $20 bucks, $25.
Easily. Newest club, newest place. So again, huge thank you to Sean, Amy, hauling me around with their friends. They had a bunch of friends in. It was like a group of 10 of us, right? Most of their friends were from California, which was really cool. So like they all had been to Vegas before and knew kind of what we were doing, but they didn't know the game plan for the night. So they're like, hey, just jump in the limo. And we're like, fuck, okay, let's go. Where are we going? Don't worry about it. Just let's go. I'm like, all right, whatever. So they had plans, but they didn't have plans. So it was fun to just, hey, what are we doing? Whatever. Let's just see what happens, right? But yeah, good people. Good freaking people. The next day while working on the strip, I decided to visit a new speakeasy at Flamingo. It's called the Count Room. They just added it. It's now been there maybe a little over a month, right? Well, I did work there last month. So I was like, they added a speakeasy. I saw friends go there on YouTube. So I'm like, I'm going to go find this place. I quizzed myself to find it. So I take a lap through the casino. I look around and I'm like, I don't see anything new, right? And then I make it back over towards the food court. And to the right of the food court entrance, there's a makeshift door that just looks painted on. There's a very little handle on there. You can't really tell it's a door. But if you go into this place, and there's a little sign that says the Count Room. But if you go into this place, as soon as you open the doors, they got like these stacked barrels in a long hallway, and all these old school pictures of Bugsy and all the mobsters and old school Flamingo pictures. And you walk inside into the actual speakeasy, and there's the bar area. There's little tables in the back. You can order food. It's connected to Bugsy and Myers Steakhouse. Real fun part was, not only was this place really cool and decked out, curtain like everywhere, but pictures everywhere, little tables to have drinks and stuff, and whole booths in the back, but people kept walking in through the door entryway from the steakhouse thinking it was a restroom. So nobody knew what this was when they'd come in from the restaurant. So every time somebody would walk in, we'd get a crack out of them because they're like, oh, sorry.
Wrong place.
Yeah, and there's one guy, he was coming in unzipping his pants already, right? It was fucking hilarious, man. Well, so we're sitting there, and I'm talking to the bartender. This guy's name's Jeff. Super cool. He started telling me about the place. Apparently, they were going to open this before COVID, and they had this in plans, and they're like, well, can they have them, close to close? So we just held off. So they had this in the works already. And then I decided, you know what? This guy's cool. I'm going to have a drink, right? What do you recommend? He knows I'm not a big drinker now. He starts giving me all these tasters. Hey, try this. See if you like this. So really cool experience. But I ended up trying something called As the Clouds Roll By. It's like he said, a bloody margarita. But it was not like your typical big glass margarita type thing. It was in a little glass and had a spicy seasoned rim. It was sweet. It was spicy. It was really, really dangerous. Like one of those really good drinks where you can't tell there's alcohol. Yeah. Man, too many of those, you're in trouble. These guys were cool as shit. I mean, they were born and raised in Vegas, both bartenders, super down to earth, and went to, Vegas schools and stuff. So to even hear them talk to me about, oh, well, what are some of your favorite places? They're like, how do you know about these places, right? And then I tell them what I'm doing now, and they're like, this is really cool. Showed them some of the stuff we're doing, and they're like, this, I said, and this is exactly why I'm here. Showed them that I got pictures of the place, right? All this. They're like, this is freaking cool, right? So yeah, really cool experience. The drink, I think, was $22 expected for a strip place, a speakeasy type thing. The drink was worth it. I mean, the experience, the chat, everything, plus tip. I mean, I think I walked out $30, right? But the guy was cool as shit. Definitely check this place out. If you're looking for something to do, they have small bites, a happy hour menu as well. So definitely worth a visit.
Count Room, Flamingo.
The Count Room. It's an interesting find. You have to find it. But again, if you're by the food court, just look to the right, makeshift door, little signs there, open it, walk in. Yeah. Super cool. I like that kind of concept. Yeah. It seems that speakeasies are starting to be more and more.
They're popping up a lot.
Yes. And it seemed like Hello Kitty Kitty really started to light the fire once they started to see that those are really intriguing to people. Yeah. So later on that night, me and George, we decided to go visit Bacon Nation. Bacon Nation, the newest 24-hour restaurant, So we walk over, and I go check in. I was a little bit early. And as I get there, I asked the lady, hey, I just want to check in for a table at 2. It's maybe 11 o'clock, maybe? Right. She says that they're no longer doing dine-in. Well, then she let me know that they're no longer doing dine-in orders, that you can only do to-go orders from about 11 to 6. And I said, really? She's like, yeah, we only do to-go orders, that we're not doing dine-in. And now I posted about this, and a lot of people mentioned this, like, hey, this is the thing. I just went today. Yeah, they said the same thing. But I found more interesting is the place has been getting a lot of bad reviews, which is surprising because it's so new. It's bacon, which a lot of people enjoy, but I don't think it's necessarily the food. I think it's the service that people are struggling with more than anything. You know, they're not getting checked on and stuff. So hopefully, I mean, if it's a employee issue thing that they can't find people for the night shift, like hopefully they figure that out, because I've heard even the lady said, well, you can sit right here and eat your food like in their little lobby area. I'm like, no. She goes, or you can sit at Canada Bar or Bar Canada. I'm like, I don't want to eat my food at a bar, right? Like so I was interested in trying the place, but it didn't work out, which I was a little bummed out, because I'm like, man, this would be a great late night option.
We're definitely rooting for the place because we love the D, and to have another 24-hour sit-down place at downtown is always a plus, because there really isn't a lot that is 24 hours. No. So we're rooting for the Bacon Nation to have a good comeback. You know, anything can happen there, and if they can just change a few things, tweak a few things, it'll be fine. It'll bounce back.
And again, it's one of those things where I've heard a couple of things about price, because it's not cheap, right? But if you're giving quality food, quality service, people overlook price anytime, any place you go, especially when it's a new spot like this. I think they're going to figure it out. And I do, like you said, I hope they figure it out, because I'm excited to go try this place.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I really am. I think it's a cool, neat concept in downtown. Yeah. That's our jam, man.
Yeah, and I think it'll work itself out, honestly. I think it just needs a few tweaks, and it needs some TLC given to it.
Yeah, 100%. So one of the following nights, I decided to go check out these cheap comedy shows. Now, we telling people about things to do, options to find.
And you love comedy shows. You do.
I do. Comedy shows and live music have been like my turn on this year.
Your boss George loves comedy shows too.
It's crazy how much he likes to go as well.
And he really got you to start going. Because he was going weekly to the Tropicana one, right?
I mean, we know, I've met comedians here in Fresno, right? But I mean, this has been over the top. Okay, so I was looking for something to do. I think it was Monday night, right? I open up the VegasNearMe app, and we're not going to even mention that part yet, because I got more to mention on that later of some cool things we did. But I open up the VegasNearMe app, and I'm like, well, let's see what's going on tonight. I have nothing scheduled. I don't want to be downtown every night. I want to find something to do, right? Tell people about what's going on. Oyo's new comedy showroom. It's been open maybe a couple of months. So on the weekends, Thursday through Sunday, they have this guy, Byron Kennedy. Now, he headlines there on the weekends, and he always has other performers, but he's hilarious. Like, he's real raw, real straight up, right? Well, Monday through Wednesdays, they have just, random acts come in 7 and 9. But what I found interesting about these places is this place and the next place I'm going to include, they have all-you-can-drink packages for $25 throughout the show, right? Most of these shows are 2 hours long. You can pay $25 for one drink on the strip, like I've said. Now, some people that were just in the area that just kind of were curious about what was going on in the place, the lady told them about the drink packages, and if they just bought the drink packages, that they can get their tickets for free. So they're like, hell yeah, let's do this. So it was like a group of 6 guys, right? Ended up going to this comedy show. There's about 4 comedians in the first show. And I say the first show because something happens really interesting later. So the first comedian to open up was actually from the YouTube channel, Las Vegas Advisor. He does the channel with Anthony Curtis. They talk about different things to do and deals in town and stuff, right? Well, his name's Andrew. He was the MC for the night. So it was really cool to see him do his thing, right? And I didn't expect that. So I was like, okay, now I felt more comfortable. It's somebody I already knew, right? I went by myself. Mind you guys, that's always something I don't recommend you do, because you're going to get picked on if you do what I do and sat in front row, right? So there's these 3 comedians I want to mention, but there's also another guy I have to mention. This guy's name is Josh. He ended up sitting behind me by himself, okay? White guy by himself, right? And I have to mention white guy because the comedians pick on this guy, and that's all they keep referring to him as. Now, I'm going to mention clips throughout these comedians that I mentioned so you guys can get a feel for what they do. But Josh is somebody who was with his group of friends that got the drink package tickets. So, mind you, if you're a hotel guest at these places, by the way, the tickets are only $15. But if you're interested in going, like I said, I think they're $29 just to go and check out these comedians.
Which is super cheap for a show.
$29, right? I'm watching these guys do their thing. So the second guy that I have to tell you about, like I mentioned, Josh, he's by himself, sitting by himself, doing his thing, enjoying himself, laughing, The next comedian I'm going to tell you about, his name is Stoner Rob. Now, this guy, he's working on tour right now with Cheech and Chong on their comedy shows, right? But he also runs a cannabis dispensary tour on the weekends in Vegas with Tommy Chong. So, which I found interesting. I found all this out afterwards, but they see Josh. He sees Josh sitting behind me by himself, laughing it off. And so he's, addressing the crowd, and he's like, are you by yourself? And I noticed they saw me, but they looked at him, right? So they're bagging on like, how'd you come by yourself, right? And I'm going to mention a bunch of clips, but the Stoner Rob guy was hilarious, right? I'll put some clips in here because you have to, if you're in town in Vegas, he's a local as well. Most of these comedians are locals, and you'll be able to see these guys a lot of different times all around town, right? This guy was awesome. Got to meet these guys after the show, which I'm going to explain in a minute.
I was going to get up and find the broom, but then I got high.
Look at him singing along. I don't care. I'll let the CD play. I get paid the same. I'll just do this shit. This is going to be great. I wasn't even supposed to be here tonight. They called me in like an hour ago. Yeah, I was pissed off about it. I was like, that's bullshit. It's my day off. And then I remembered I only work for 12 minutes a night, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't do shit, dude. Like, I didn't realize how little I did till they called me in last night and I just put a lasagna in the oven. And then I came here, did my thing, went home, and I still had an hour left on the lasagna in the oven. I was like, damn, I don't do shit. I don't even know why I have instant oatmeal. I have time. This show is great. I valet parked my car, came in, and then found out they don't have valet. So, that shit is fucking stolen. Right? Oh, this is fun. You guys having fun? Yeah? You stay here? Yeah, you staying at the Oil?
No, I'm saying I live in Vegas.
Oh, you live in Vegas? Oh, no. What brought you out tonight? I brought you out? Oh, I wasn't even supposed to fucking be here. How quick do you get the tweets? You're like my fucking parole officer. I know where he's gonna be. I know right where the fuck he's gonna be. Little cheap ass went over there because I got dollar blackjack. I know what he's doing. What do you do for a living out here in Las Vegas?
Babysit.
Babies, the way she said it too. Babysit. What? Like how she said babysit and she's out. You're horrible at your job. Who's sitting the babies right now? They in the car and shit? Did you valet? Those kids are halfway to fucking Mexico by now. Where'd you used to live?
Bellingham, Washington.
Oh, look at Bellingham. What? Do you think you're better than me? The way she said it, Bellingham. This is fun, dude. I never got to perform in front of 12 people. I'm Mexican. I live with more motherfucking people than this. The Stratosphere is like a U.S. embassy, man. Like, you're safe inside. And maybe 38 feet outside. Go to the Strat, step outside 38 feet. You're like, it's gorgeous. 39 feet, you're all shot. The fucking security's like, bitch, crawl back a foot. You're out of our jurisdiction. This is gonna be, how are you, sir? Sitting by yourself, you good? Yeah. What the fuck is your story? Like, you're sitting by yourself and you look like you're about to run. You're halfway off the seat. Hey, Drew, did we charge this fucker? I don't think he's gonna lock the door. I don't think he's gonna pay the bill. You guys have been fun, so I'm gonna leave you with a little something for you, because you guys seem like a good crowd. I never really do this, but I'm gonna tell you how to get out of a bill. Because this just happened to me in Boston, and I was pissed off. So I'm in Boston. By the way, they hate when you say Boston like that, all right? So I'm in Boston, And I walk into a bar, and this lady's taking forever, a waitress, to give us some beer. So I go get my own beer. I come back. She comes to the table and yells at me. She goes, "You don't ever get your own beer." And I'm like, "Oh, shit. I'm tripping." And she goes, "I get your beer." And I had just taken acid. So I'm thinking, fuck, did I do something wrong? So then she comes back, and she says, "Can we take your order?" I said, "Can we get 2 separate orders?" She goes, "Fuck no, I'm not doing all that writing." I said, "Okay, no problem." And then I asked her what I asked everybody. I said, "Can I smoke weed in here?" And she goes, "Absolutely not." And I said, "Why not?" She said, "The law." I said, "What would happen if I smoked weed?" She said, "You smoke weed in here? And I'll throw you the fuck out the second you spark it." So I looked at my friend, I said, "Order whatever you want." Because it's on me tonight. So we order everything, we get our beers, and she comes to give me the bill. I sparked the joint, she said, "Get out." I said, "Yes, ma'am," and that's how you don't pay for a fucking bill. I'm Stoner Rob. Enjoy your headliner, Tricks.
The next guy was Tricks. Tricks, we've actually seen me and you at Tropicana. This guy, he's raw. He doesn't care. He picks on everybody in the crowd. He makes fun of himself. Like, he's hilarious. This guy went off on Josh, right? He's like, "Oh my God, we got somebody sitting by himself, you know?" And so he's like, he started making this real funny song, like, "I'm gonna kill myself," right? Like, it was hilarious. And he kept saying it through the show, right? And it was freaking hilarious. And poor Josh, he was laughing it off. And
we're at the Oyo. Yeah. I don't know if anybody, I don't know who's staying here, but you fucked up, bro. Like, no, because let me tell you something about Vegas. Vegas is like, it has door number 3 syndrome. It does, because what it does, like, you stay in a shit hotel and then you walk the strip and go in other hotels, and it's like, "Let's see what you didn't choose, motherfucker." And it's like, "Here's Aria, a place with a bed and room service. Let's see what you picked. Oyo, where the nicest restaurant is a Hooters." This is fucked up, ain't it? That's how you know you fucked up, when the nicest restaurant is a Shake Shack. That's some of you ladies came with your man, and your man was like, "We're going to Vegas." You went, "We're going to Vegas?" The motherfucker didn't tell you where you were staying, bastard. That's how every comic in Vegas start their show. Just listen to this Circus for 10 minutes. Circus so bad, even the Mexicans are like, "We'll just stay at the Trump." Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. You stay in there and make better decisions. Some of you guys got your arms folded like, I don't like this show. I know one of you are staying in a shit hotel and looking for an excuse to stay outside. That's how you know you're staying in a shit hotel, where it's like, you guys want to hang some more? Let's just walk the strip. I know it's 3 in the morning, but let's just, I want to see the Bellagio fountain. Fuck off. What's going on, black people? We good? What's up? Like my black people in the front row. Couple of Asians, how you doing? Don't worry. I don't make fun of Asians. You good, bro? No, I don't make fun of Asians, man. You know, I saw an Asian dude fuck up a white dude. It was the best 3 minutes of my life. It really was. Seriously, because in the middle of the fight, the Asian just said, "Please, I don't want any trouble." Hey, how many kung fu movies you see where Asians say that? And you're like, "Man, don't provoke him, man." When they say that shit, when an Asian says, "I don't want any trouble," back the fuck up. Black people, listen, we've seen many kung fu movies now. We've seen it. We're like, this white dude's gonna get fucked up. White dude must have watched Cobra Kai or some shit, because he said some ignorant shit. He's like, "What the fuck you gonna do? What are you gonna fucking do, Mr. Miyagi?" That's what he said. You know, I walked over to the white guy. I said, "Hey, come here, man. You know what Mr. Miyagi can do, don't you?" "Hey, you gonna get fucked up. I'll be with the black people. You gonna get fucked up." Asian dude said it again. He said, "Please, I don't want any trouble." But this time, his lips weren't even moving. Somebody else said the shit. I said, hey, how the fuck do they do that shit? Is he laughing? One white dude by himself. How you doing? You all right, man? Normally when I see a white dude by himself, I get nervous. Sorry, the times we're living. I like to see my white boys accompanied by an adult. I don't want to. Listen, black people, look, stop laughing. It's the truth. When I see a white guy sitting like that by himself, I'm like, man, hope the exits are all covered. White boys are always up to no good. Just want to do something horrible to somebody. What makes me laugh is he's not denying any of the things I'm saying. That should be the concerning part. Like, I don't know why everybody's sitting there laughing. And he's over there like, just the rock songs playing in his head. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Right, man. Hey, I don't know who sing that, but calm the fuck down now. You ever listen to those songs are scary as fuck, bro. All by myself, I'm gonna die. There's a white guy sitting there going, that's a good song. I don't know why everybody laughing. That's meaningful lyrics. Right. Okay, I'm joking. What's your name, bro? Josh? Man, that sounds like a school shoot name to me. Okay, look, I'm not making fun of you no more, man. Look, we're here, we're all having a good time. This is Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're back here without no rules. Fuck the rules. Yeah. We're back here. I moved here during the pandemic when there was rules and shit. You had to put the mask on for everything. I'm glad there's no more masks. You don't gotta breathe into that shit. You ever breathe into your mask and be like, nigga? You ever? You ever breathe into your mask like that? Man, that smells like a positive test. Fuck. Did I give it to myself? Am I supposed to have morning breath at 6 p.m.? No, listen, men, women are the only ones in here that can create an entire evening to touch themselves. I'm not sitting there, I don't want nobody to see me. I look like women come in there and see my face. Beetlejuice, 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 Beetlejuice. Women are in tune with their bodies. That's why their eyes are closed. They touch themselves. It's gentle. Guys don't jerk slow. Hurry up! Hurry up! All right, before I go, I just want to make a public service announcement. I used to take the bus a lot, you know, because I was successful back then too. Yeah, I used to take the bus a lot. We need to stop asking stupid questions. At the bus stop, man. I don't like it. Sometimes I was high when I was waiting for the bus. Anyone who smokes weed here know how hard it is to catch a bus. You try catching a bus when you're high, it's fucked up. Because every light that comes toward you look like the bus. You know what I mean? Numerous times, like, oh, the bus is here! Oh, that's a truck, fuck it. That's a truck, it's a truck. What makes you laugh is nobody's there, but I'm talking to somebody. Then a woman would come out of nowhere and ask arguably the dumbest question I've ever heard. I know she didn't mean anything by it, but if you really think about it, it's a stupid question. Excuse me, hi, did the bus leave yet? I don't know what's worse, the question or the fact that I answered her. Because I was high. I said, yeah. The bus left, man. But I stayed. I stayed because I knew you'd be here. And I wanted to be the one to tell you, the bus is gone now.
afterwards, they do this real funny thing where it's instead of you going to buy merchandise after a show, you know, they're like, oh, buy my CD or buy my shirt, right, to support. These guys at this comedy show, and because it's new and it's just being established, now the staff and owners were cool and stuff, but they also do this thing after the show where you can go and just buy these mystery shots, $3 a piece, and you can go and buy the comedians a drink, and you can go and have a drink with them, get to chat with them, take pictures and stuff. It was really cool. Yeah. I bought them all a drink, went over, chatted with them. Once they figured out who I was and how I found out about the show, because that's all they kept saying, how'd you find out about this? Well, let me show you, right? So I'm showing them the app, and they're like, this is fucking dope. Yeah. They're like, how did you... What? They're like, this is really cool. I go, dude, as a local, I think you'd enjoy it even more. Like, check it out. And so they're like, why don't you come to the next show, man? We're going to be at the Strat at 10 o'clock. Why don't you come over? Tickets are on us. Come over, have a few drinks, hang out. And then, you know, after the show, let's hang out. Let's do it. So I go over to the next show. Typically, when you see comedians do their thing, or you see them another time, or like a magician, or just act, they genuinely do the same thing. All three of these guys had whole different shows, right? And so then there was another comedian on top of it. This is where the night couldn't get any better. I told you a little bit about this. So while the show is happening, a lady falls asleep during one of the comedian's sets, right? So I'm going to play this audio for you guys. But the comedian acknowledges it after he's getting a group of guys that are like haggling, all drunk and stuff, right? They're heckling and talking stuff. They were super drunk. They came from the first show, these group of guys. They were throwing chips at the headliner, and he's like, whoa, don't be throwing shit at me. And he looked and he's like, whoa, that's a $50 chip. He's like, throw more of those if you got a chance, right? But then this lady falls asleep, and he realizes it while he's talking. So he's talking about it, and everybody's laughing, and he's like, no, seriously, he tells her friend, I need you to nudge her because she might be dead. It's an older lady, right? And so the lady wakes up and realizes, guys, we laugh so hard. It's so hard. This audio does it all for you.
That lady must have been tired.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is amazing. Your friend is actually sleeping, miss. That's amazing. Do not wake her up. I envy this power right here. That woman is... God loves her more than all of us. All of us, God loves her, because God's like, you rest. She'll never know. All of us will have post-traumatic stress for the rest of our fucking lives. This woman, she's going to wake up refreshed tomorrow. That woman is going right to heaven. If you just make sure she's alive, please, thank you. Just give her a little tap. There we go. All right, good, thank you. Starting to get a little nervous there. No dying in the show, miss. I know that this would be the cause. This is way worse than the fucking pandemic. You fell asleep, a lot went on. The fucking trailer park opened up and showed up here. Sorry. Oh, God. Do me a favor. Don't ever tell me when you saw me go through this. Miss, how do you do that? That was a gift. That was so amazing. That was so incredible. Oh, that was beautiful. You were like, I just have to go to my happy place. Oh, that was beautiful, Miss. I believe in God again after seeing it. They tried to take my faith away, and you brought it back.
How awesome is that? And so not only that, I do have to mention, I did, like I said, talk to Josh, who was the guy who was getting picked on, and I'm going to play some of his audio as well, because I want you to get his aspect of what he thought of the show, how he stumbled upon it, and if he would go back. I'm here sitting with the gentleman. Josh was your name, correct? Josh. Josh. So Josh was sitting behind me, and as you guys heard from some of the clips, he was the one being made fun of sitting by himself. Now, I was amazed because I was sitting by myself, and they didn't catch me too much, but they gave you a good time. Oh, so yeah. I wanted to bring you on and ask you what you thought of the show.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
The dude... I mean, yeah, it's comedy, you know? It's
non-stop.
A good time.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Now, would you come again?
I would definitely come again.
Did you know about this show?
I didn't until a guy actually came out and he was standing out and he was handing tickets. And we were like, heck yeah, free show and $25 all you can drink. Let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, so you guys got the package, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I was going to mention here. So for $25 for the whole show, you get to drink as much as you want.
Yep.
And these guys got even luckier because they got flagged down to come on in. Guys, this place has only been open a month. They have some really, really good comedians, and I recommend you come down here. I spent $30 on my ticket total. I sat in the front row. They kept offering me drinks, but you guys know I don't drink much. This shit was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Thank you for coming on, brother. This was a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sorry you had to go through some of that tonight.
No,
it makes it fun.
Humor.
Yeah, and that's the spirit. As long as you have a good spirit about it, it makes it more enjoyable.
Definitely.
You'll never forget it, right?
Right.
So, awesome. Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
That was fun. So the next day I went over to Red Rock because I knew they did some renovations, and then they had the new Lotus of Siam open. We've heard all of our friends talking about it, right? So finally made my way over there to get pictures and stuff for the app, right? They have all these new restaurants and stuff coming in the future. There's new Starbucks opened in the food court. As I'm going through there, I noticed there's a Silver Strike machine. You know, the coins, right? They have their own Red Rock version, but on the backside, it's the Las Vegas Aviators.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the baseball team.
Because they're right across the street.
Exactly,
yes,
right. Yeah, so
there.
we were so used to the old school properties that have them. I was like, holy shit. So I took a couple of pictures, and then once I got back later on that night, and I was going to post about it on social media, go figure. Fucking Scott Vital Vegas has a picture of the lady with the machine open. He's like, oh, if they're putting in more coin. I'm like, this goddamn guy. Yeah, no. So that's awesome. But yeah, the new high limit rooms have been touched up. So we got new images of those. But the slot high limit room is awesome. It's nice. Yeah, I went in there and there was news people doing recordings with I think it was the casino manager. And then even the table games area have all been touched up as well. So, and that was the first place when we walked in. Remember the pit boss was like, hey, Jay and Kelly, I love the show. Like, what the hell? Yeah, so that was really fun.
But boy, that Lotus of Siam has been getting a lot of press lately.
Oh, man, it's nice.
People just rant and rave about that place, and having a new location at Red Rock, I think is even more beneficial because it's
for the locals. Yeah,
yeah, it's for the locals. It's not,
Yeah. I haven't heard one bad thing about that.
I really haven't either. So
never,
I think I want to try it. I'm not big into that type of food.
I'm down. We'll go.
But I'm sure there's something on the menu I'd like.
No, I mean everybody's praised it. Like I know
it's gotten
Scott
great
loves
reviews.
it. Everybody loves the damn thing. So I mean, everybody said great things. I think we should go. I love that you're.
That's on our bucket list now.
Okay.
On the bucket list.
Okay. Now let me tell you about another place I went to for lunch this day, though. Okay, so I'm downtown. Well, in between downtown and the Strip. I end up at a place called the Good Witch. Now, this place puts every sandwich I've ever had to shame.
Including Earl of Sandwich?
It's right. I just had that. I have that. Oh, Capriotti's. Don't touch this. Sorry. This right here, I have in the notes right now. This gives Earl of Sandwich a run for its money.
Yeah, because I really like Earl of Sandwich.
Earl's great. But this place, oh my God, they pay attention to detail. Nice. It's grilled. So I got a BLTA, right, on a croissant. Okay, this thing, avocado, it had its own aioli bacon, stacked with turkey. They used a spring lettuce mix. It was picture perfect, right? Turkey, smoked, seasoned, grilled, everything, right? Really good right off the grill and everything. I eat my sandwich. Turns out the owner's there, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, he comes over. How was everything? Everything's really good. Like, I'm a sandwich person. Like, I eat, sandwiches all the time. And babe, I eat Subway.
Right.
So I told him, I was like, dude, really like what you're doing, but I want to tell you what my main reason for visiting is.
Right.
So guys, we have a deal section in this new app that we're working with, Vegas Near Me, right? In this Vegas Near Me app, there's a deal section where we're going to be putting all kinds of cool things for you guys to use all around town, right? So that's been my next focus, is starting to talk to businesses and let them know about the app, use some of their existing deals that they have out there that I found online, and inquire them in the app.
So then when you go there, all you have to do is show them your app and be like, I'd like to get this deal. And what did Good Witch offer?
So check this
Vegas
out.
Near Me?
It was really cool because I showed him who we are and what we're doing, right? Okay. So he saw the app and he's like, this is really cool. I said, I see you have an existing deal out there right now. If somebody checks in on this app or shows you the app, we can create a coupon in here. You can scan, or just people show you in real time, where they come in and show you the app and potentially line this same deal up within the free section and deals in the app. Right. It's like, that's great. Let's do it. So this is the deal. If you go in there and you show them the Vegas Near Me app, you can get a free side or draft beer with your purchase of a sandwich. Now,
that's a great deal.
I mean, that doesn't happen often.
No.
But this guy was all for it. He was like, hey, dude, let's get this deal in the app. Let's get a placard of your business on the window or something. Let's get people to know more about this. He's like, I can't tell you how many people come into my restaurant, Jay, eat my food, because they've seen us ranked recently the 8th best sandwich shop in the country to try.
Yeah.
So, and YouTubers have been coming, so we're getting some notoriety, and you know, we have been getting a lot of good things happening lately. He's like, but I'd love to be included in this thing, and hell yeah, take advantage of it.
Right.
He was like, dude, I want you to put business cards in here. I mean, so many people come and eat food here that once they're done here, they have no real plan of what to do in town. He goes, this app would be perfect for people to start looking up things to do around town. He's like, they always ask me because I'm the local, right? I should know. He's like, this thing would be perfect to let people know about. I said, you know, I've been nervous about taking this whole job change and stuff. I said, but there's moments like this where it reassures myself that I've made the right choice and makes me more comfortable at making this decision, right? Because his eyes lit up, babe. Yeah. He's like, this is really, really unique. And yes, I want to be a part of it. By the way, you got to check out these businesses. And he's like, but I want to let you know, you're the reason I can't find any damn cooks because everybody's doing new jobs and stuff. I go, this is really cool. I appreciate it. Like, he's like, dude, anytime you're in town, come by, say hi. Like, I'm definitely taking you to that place too. So
not only a good deal at Good Witch because you have Jay's stamp of approval, he tried it, but you get the free cider, free draft beer, you know, if you have the VegasNearMe app. So I mean, that's a win-win-win.
I mean, it's really cool, and there's going to be so much stuff. We already are talking to multiple businesses right now upon deals and using them in the app. We're in
just another reason to utilize the app.
Yeah, it's more of a reason for people to go and download this thing, to have all these freebies in this section. I mean, it's going to be worth it. And
Android's coming pretty soon.
Android's coming soon.
Yeah, the website is available.
Yes, Android's coming soon. The website's available. And again, if you have an iPhone, update your iPhone software to 16. You can download this thing for free. You'll be able to see that everything works. That's the only thing is your phone has to be updated. Other than that, I can't recommend this thing enough. More and more people are starting to talk about it. The downloads are starting to come in, which makes us really happy. But there's been more and more people who've been impressed by this, especially the business side, where they're like, yes, we want to be involved.
Right. And it really helps Vegas Near Me because the more downloads we get, the more people are saying, oh, yeah, I do.
It's a source.
Yeah, I'm going to invest. I want to do this. And then the more we get to offer.
Right.
I think that's how it works. Now, if they don't have the iPhone and they have the Android, can they get the deals section in the on the website? Yeah,
and
they're just starting to be manufactured.
The deal's just being created, put together. But right now, essentially, if you walked in and you let them know, hey, I heard you on the Vegas Confessions podcast. His name's David. He's always there. This place also, I do have to mention the theming. It's all superhero themed, old school throwback, right? And it's a newer building, but one thing I caught really cool is, like I said, it's all superhero themed. He said one day when he was getting busy that Lou Ferrigno was sitting at his front table and he has multiple Hulk toys around the place, right? He's like, Jay, I lost my mind. Like, he's out to see the Hulk sitting at my table, eating in my restaurant. I had to get a picture. He's like, he was the nicest guy. I said, isn't it crazy? Like, you never know who you're going to run into.
So if you're a Marvel or DC fan, that's another reason to go check it out besides the great food.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So in the Arts District, later on that day while taking a stroll through there to get some pictures, I noticed a new skate shop called Fresa Skate Shop. This place has, and it's like, I'm not thinking like skateboard skating. It's like roller skating, right? The old school roller skating, 2 and 2 wheels. This place has a little half pipe inside, and they sell like all old school skater clothing. They even sell like the big socks that go up to your knees with the stripes, right? Like they sell all old school stuff. Pretty cool people inside. I went inside and just got some pictures. It's pretty neat. And again, it's just one of those things. You never know what you're going to expect when you walk into the Arts District or what you're going to find between food, different stores to shop at. I mean, there's so much cool stuff in the Arts District.
And it's growing. It's getting more popular.
Like crazy. Crazy. So let's talk about one of the most fun events I've ever been a part of in downtown Las Vegas. Babe, this was called the Great Onesie Bar Crawl. This thing was so much fun. I knew about it because we had it in the VegasNearMe app and I was putting videos in for it, right? And people that were finding out about this event were people who were just coming into town that weekend. It seemed like everybody I talked to, I was like, how'd you hear about this thing? They're like, we just Googled what to do this weekend, right? And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. This thing is basically $80, and they have onesie packages included where you can go in and just sign up and register. And the way it works is you have your onesie included. You get to choose from 12 different bars, and in this package you get to choose between 12 different bars throughout Fremont Street to go and have all these drinks. Right now, all these bars are involved, and it's throughout all the different casinos on Fremont Street. So people who have never been, which I happen to end up with, right, they were from Chicago, and so many people went by themselves. I went to this thing by myself, right? I dressed like a dinosaur, right? Okay, so I get there.
You had a blast.
Oh, I had and so much fun. You're talking about people who are obviously willing to come dress up and not give a shit what other people think about them, be warm all night, and just have a blast. It was cool, babe, because the 12 places you could have drinks at, you had drinks as little as $4, $3 shots. They had an alcohol brand that they were working with at the different places, so this alcohol was everywhere and was super cheap. If you were going to drink, this is the event you go to. I've heard of a couple different bar crawls, but this one's fun because, like I said, you don't know who you're going to run into. This one was fun because everybody that was dressed up was something different. There wasn't a lot of the same onesies unless people bought their suits there. So, I mean, I bought mine there, which there was maybe 6, 7 dinosaurs. And at one point we were all walking together.
But there were some funny ones that you showed me pictures of.
There was tuxedos, sharks. I mean, there was any animal you can think of. There was reindeers. There was Santa Clauses. I mean, there was people missing holes in their ass. Like, it was hilarious. Some were presents. I mean, there was one
people
guy
taking pictures of you guys, right?
Oh,
Going, what's going on?
Oh, yeah. There was one guy, and I think these guys were the best ones for me, is they had these onesies that had a big target on them, right? And they also had like, and they also had these like 5 balls that people that would stick on, Velcro balls. And so on the bottom, it also read, if you miss, you drink. So people were throwing the balls at the target, and if they missed the bullseye, they had to drink their beer, right? Or whatever.
That's very creative.
Oh, it was, and there was a group of 4 of them, right? So they all had these, and everybody was just, hey, I need you to stop, and they'd pull the balls off and start throwing. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it really does make you appreciate being back with people again. Oh, babe, I ended up with this couple from Chicago, right? And another guy from California. His name was Rocky.
And you guys went to all 12 bars, didn't you?
I took them to all 12 bars. I took them into every property. I showed them the sports book at Circa. They're like, by the time I was done with them, I showed them the Hand of Faith at Golden Nugget and showed them everything, right, that they want to see downtown. And they're like, Jay, you should run a tour company. Like, you know this shit. Like, I go, this is just because I'm here every night. Like, they go, but you know this stuff like the back of your hand. Like, what's cool, the Shark Tank. Like, they would have thought, I would have never thought that this was here. I said, and that's it with Vegas, is no matter where you go, there's something unique to every single property, which makes it pretty cool about, you know, Vegas. And they're like, it was funny because they kept referring to downtown as Old Vegas and the Strip as New Vegas. So I just kept getting a crack out of that. But everywhere we took them, they're like, this is so cool that you know this. So we went up to the Troy up at Golden Nugget, which was the main stay area for all of us onesie people, right? So they had a club going on, all the different bars, all the bartenders had onesies. I mean, everybody was onesied out. Everybody was in on it.
The bartender's probably super excited. That's a comfortable way to dress for the night, right?
One was wearing a tuxedo onesie. Like, it was.
Those are comfy.
Yeah,
those are comfy.
Everything was comfy. Like, it was so much fun. And you want to talk about people just having a blast? This was it. This was it. Like, I recommend anybody, if you're ever interested and in town.
What do they do it once a year?
And it's the day before Thanksgiving. They call it Drinksgiving and the Great Onesie Bar Crawl, because at the end of the show, not only is all this stuff included for $80, but at the end of the night, it's capped off with the Flow Rider concert on Fremont Street. This thing was freaking even more crazy.
That was your 3rd concert, right?
That was the 3rd concert in a few days.
Stone Temple Pilots, Ludacris, and Flow Rider.
Flow Rider.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, right? Well, and it just goes to show, if you just know what's happening around you, all you got to do is be looking at what's happening. This free app helps, seriously, like, because there's a lot of stuff. So I told the organizers when I bought my ticket, and let me tell you how I got a little bit off on the ticket, but I can't forget to mention Flow Rider. Flow Rider was doing his music. He had a bunch of girls up on stage in onesies, smacking ass, right? He was throwing out fistful of dollars out into the crowd. Like, it was fun. It was really something to see. It's definitely something I recommend if you're in town right before Thanksgiving. Check this out. It was so much fun, and like I said, the people, definitely worth it. And if you guys end up there next year, I'll see you there. Kelly, you're going, because this thing is so much fucking fun. I got my onesie already too. Shit, we're ready to roll.
You can't wear a dinosaur 2 years in a row. You have to buy. You have to get something else.
Nope, I'm rocking that dinosaur onesie.
You need to buy something else.
Oh.
Get the one where people throw things at you.
Yeah,
you should get that one.
Yeah, there was some fun stuff. We definitely have to do this. Probably the best part though, babe, was when the Chicago couple were walking through Fremont Street at one point, and they see the two nuns, right? The two nuns with the boobs out, right? So we're walking and they're laughing, and the wife's like, "Hey, you go get a picture," and he's all, "No." He's like, "Yeah, you know, fuck it, it's only $20." I go, "No, that's gonna be 20%." And as he's walking in to take the picture, he looks back at me like, "Wait, what?" And then they put the boobs right next to him, and then she takes the picture. Best timing of a picture ever. She's like, "This is classic." So he ended up doing some regular poses and smiling. But the first one was the best one. She kept showing me, babe, all night. Like, we laughed our ass off because he was like, and he ended up giving him $40. I'm like, dude.
So, on a side note, now that you're talking about those people, I was reading an article, and I think it's by Vital Vegas. I think he had it on casino.org. He interviewed a couple of the girls.
Oh, yeah.
And they make $1,000 a day. I had to read that twice.
You're surprised.
I am. My jaw dropped when I saw that. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No wonder that they continue to stay out there. If you're making $1,000 a day, they're like,
it's worth it.
It's better than stripping.
Yeah.
Like,
and
all you're just down there.
Cold. It's worth. Yeah, it's worth it all for them.
$1,000 a day. That is, you're talking tax free.
Yeah, 100%.
$1,000 a day. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, these people probably have multiple houses. They're probably great. You know, like, that's a lot of money to take home every day.
Isn't that an interesting read?
That is a very interesting. I mean, and I had, you've seen, what is it? Hustler, like you've seen the movie where they can bring home good money. But I mean, my jaw was dropped and I was in awe. Literally, I read the article going, I mean, I could see $200-300, which is still a great day. If you're making $200 or $300 under the table a day to stand out there and, basically take pictures with people, talk shit, do whatever. Hey, good for you. Like, to each his own. But when they're making $1,000 a day, I'm like, are you kidding me? And you get those gentlemen that are, hey, I'll give you $100, chickie. Yeah.
Easy.
I was wow. Yeah. Good for you guys. That's all I gotta say. Good for you guys.
So I did go to another breakfast spot with our friends Jennifer and David. We went to this place called Squeezed in Henderson. Now, as soon as I drove into the driveway, I thought of you because it was right next door to Havana Grill. Remember we went to that place and tried the food?
And it was good. It was the Cuban sandwich that was our favorite, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So this place was literally right next door, and another like Peg's glorified ham and eggs.
And you really liked that place too.
Oh my God. This place was all painted inside. The servers
You realize when we move there, we're going to have an exercise room because of all the places that you're going to eat.
I know. I'm going to turn into a blob. Like this is, it was so much good food and like homemade stuff. Half of the menu is like Mexican items. And so this place is a definitely must visit, just like those other breakfast options I've been telling you about. And actually, a huge shout out to a guy named Theo who's in Vegas this weekend. He went to Doña Maria's Tamales this week and was like, Jay, this place was phenomenal. He's like, I had the same thing you ordered. It was freaking great.
He sent you pictures and everything, right?
He put it on social media. Like, these places are legit. And if you like exploring Vegas, like I said, there's 2 of these places and definitely worth the visit. So, definitely check this one out in Henderson.
That's where your chef background really helps you when you're trying these places as well, because you know what the palate should be like.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell what love has been put into the...
Oh, yeah. Well, since we're talking about quality food, let's get into a real one right here. I know we said we're going to talk about a couple, but this one I have to mention. The last place I have to mention that I went to on the Las Vegas Strip, quality Italian food, Carbone over at Aria.
Oh, yeah.
I have a good friend, Nick, from This Is The Way Las Vegas, the YouTube channel. Super fun to watch his stuff, but I've known him for a while, and he's been hounding on me. He knows my chef background. He's like, Jay, come try our restaurant. Dude.
And this was your trip
good.
before last, right?
This was.
Yeah,
I didn't get this
your last
one.
night
Yeah.
there.
I didn't get this one in because we were already running long. Yeah, but he's been hounding on me. He's the bartender over there. So he's been bartending a long time. He's been a bartender over at John George next door, a real famous steakhouse inside of Aria, and then just recently moved over to Carbone. And this guy, not only is he really good at his craft and is, again, attention to detail. I was like, Jay, what are we having? So this guy, as soon as I walked in, he had a reservation for me at the bar, right? I had a spot. I sat in between two people and I'm setting up my camera gear and stuff. And they're like, oh, what you got going? And I'm telling, oh, I'm just making a video. I won't record you guys. They're like, oh, no. Like, we're good. Like, it's no biggie. So they were trying their food and I just saw their food and I sat down. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be real good, right? One had veal parmesan, one had pasta. And so I'm like, all right, let's sit down and check this out. As soon as I sit down, Nick turns around. He starts handing me all these spicy salamis, these pickled cauliflowers, fresh Parmesan off the wheel, this assorted bread mix. And he's like, all right, Jay, what do you feel like having? I'm like, oh, okay, let's do a salad. I'm going to try some pasta, right? I'm going to check this out. I order a Caesar salad. This guy mixes the Caesar salad from scratch, does everything in the bowl in front of you, kind of like the Golden Steer style where they make everything in front of you. Tosses the salad, puts it in front of me, and he's like, dude, these croutons, best croutons on the strip. I'm like, okay. So yeah, really good salad, piled high, right? Like much.
Yeah.
Followed by that, he recommended the spicy vodka pasta. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm down for pasta. So, but then he also threw in a meatball. He's like, hey, you got to try these meatballs. We do some meatballs, and maybe not 3 of them, just try one so you can still have room for your meal. He's like, but they're killer, Jay. All right, let's add one of those to the list. This food, babe, spot on.
Yeah.
Everything about it, from the appetizers to the salad to the freaking pasta, it was perfect. The sauce, you could taste the vodka.
Right.
There's a little bit of spiciness in there. It was the rigatoni shells, and I'm finishing up with everything, and the meatball killer, but it wasn't Pizza Rock meatball, right? I can't stop Pizza Rock, man. Those meatballs are good.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing, babe, was so tender, juicy, saucy, right? It was killer. Everything about this stuff was great. So I'm just about finished with everything. I'm wrapping up my video. Nick comes over and he's like, hey Jay, you got to try some of these, right? And he hands me what is called a rainbow cake. Now, if you've seen some of the pictures about Carbone advertised in town, you'll notice they have a dessert with 3 colored cakes and chocolate on the top and the bottom. It's usually green, yellow, red, right? Like, he gives me about 4 of these, right? And I bite into the first one. It's like a sponge, just dissolves in your mouth. Not too sweet. You know, I'm not a big sweets person. Yeah. And the amount of chocolate adds the sweetness to this cake. And it was just perfect. Like, I was like, holy shit, right? Yeah. So I ended up taking everything with me. I mean, I'm about finished with everything. He's like, Jay, come on, let me show you the actual restaurant. The major part of the restaurant is in the back, behind the bar area where the tables are and, you know, big party sittings. We go back there and he's like, I just want to show you something really cool. And he takes me back to the first table on the left-hand side of the entrance. And he's like, this table right here, Jay, is where Bryce Harper signed his Major League Baseball contract. When he signed, he signed it right here at this table, and that's what this table's known for. I'm like, that's fucking cool. He's like, yeah, just a little history on the table. He's like, not a lot of people know that about this place, but yeah, Bryce Harper, local, signed his MLB contract there.
That's awesome,
right? So again, huge shout out to Nick just for having me come down, check the place out. And again, the little backstories, little things like that, you really appreciate.
Little nuggets.
I love that kind of stuff. But yes, definitely worth the visit. Not cheap. I think I walked out just under $100. But I mean, just fucking worth it. Worth every penny. If you're going to splurge or go out for like an anniversary dinner like Sean and Amy did, this is a spot and an option to do that. If you're just trying to go out and try a fancier food, one guy sitting next to me, he's like, man, I came with stretchy pants on because I knew I was going to have me a good meal before I fly home. I'm like, I love that guy. He's like, dude, I hit this as my last stop on every trip because I know I'm going to come and have a good eat.
Right.
I'm going to sleep good. I'm going to get on the plane and fly home comfy. I'm like, that makes sense, actually. Yeah. So it's funny that people have their routines,
you
right?
Leave happy no matter what.
No matter what. Win or loss. Leave it full. That's awesome. Yeah, so definitely a lot of fun places to check out, interesting food spots, and again, just options of things to do in town, right? That's what we're all about, giving people ideas of things to do. another thing not Vegas related that I do want to mention is we went to the casino the other night.
Yeah.
And this was interesting because something happened that we both did not expect. And it happened, we went purposely to get something to eat.
Right.
And, you know, let's touch upon this because we talked about it. The casino we like frequenting is now a new casino, right? And we're having a hard time liking it. And I think we're both come down to this determination. It's mainly because, for me, I think it's mainly because everything's so new. There's none of the old school.
We had our favorite machines that aren't there anymore.
And
that's part of it.
It seems like there's not very much video poker in general.
Yeah, there's only a little section that we found.
Yeah. And I have that place in general, as well as also I've noticed the limits are up, right? Mm-hmm. Newer place. They got up right after COVID at the old place, but it's not our main go-to. But so we went. We decided, you know what, let's go. What was it? Right after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was Sunday.
Yeah. So we were like, let's go. We play. We eat. We end up playing a little bit. No major luck, you know.
Yeah.
I go to the restroom. We have a little run of luck at the end, right? At video poker, mm-hmm. We're playing together. I have a little run of luck. I come up, I think, a couple $100.
Yeah.
I go to the restroom. You're like, I'm just about done. I go to the restroom and I come back and you're standing there and you had called me twice. You're like, I called you. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even hear my phone go off, right? I'm like, okay, you ready? Let's go. They're like, no, look, what happened?
I hit a hand pay.
On nickels?
On nickels.
On nickels, yeah. So this doesn't help me, right? Because what'd I tell you that night? Like, you're not helping me because, you know, you're just making me think that I still got a chance. I still got a chance to hit a hand pay, right? Because I'm that low roller player. But no, yeah. So you hit a hand pay. What'd you hit?
Yeah, super crazy. So I was playing Ultimate X, and I was playing nickels, the 5 hands. And I was playing the bonus streak ultimate.
Yeah.
And so I had hit, I'm not sure, maybe like a full house or something, right? Mm-hmm. 3 or 4 hands prior. So on the very last option for bonus, all of my 5 hands, they were times 12 and it deals me 3 threes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, and I'll wait for him to get back or something. I'm like, I'm just hitting. I close my eyes.
Selfish.
I close my eyes and you can hear their new machine, so you can hear it go off.
That's something we like doing, by the way, right?
And it has a special sound when you hit a 4 of a kind. No, it's not just a do. It's a you know, it's a special sound. And you video poker players, you guys know that 4 of a kinds have a special sound, right? And so I close my eyes and I can hear it, but I'm not processing that I got a 4 of a kind or the ramifications because I'm playing
nickels,
triple double.
Yeah, that's right.
And 4 threes pays, I think, 800 or something like that. But 4 threes with a 2, 3, or 4 pays 2,000, which would be $100 in nickels, you know. So I hear it go off and I'm like, what the hell? Then finally open my eyes. It gave me 3 4 of a kinds, and the last one on the top was with the kicker. So 24,000 nickels on the top, which is $1,200.
Yeah.
My hand pay was like $1,697.
Isn't that crazy?
On a $2.50 bet. I was so freaking excited. Yeah, because we really haven't gone a lot. Like since we've been back here, because we've been working, we got the kids here.
We've been working, a lot.
And really, since July, our oldest 2 are not home. They were both, one was in Florida, one was in Georgia. So we don't have nighttime babysitters per se, you know, like built in. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we don't have the opportunity, which is, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to go because my son's home from Florida now, and he was at home, and so
it was just nice to get
away
out.
As adults. Yeah, we hadn't been out a long time.
We said that a couple of times.
Not
it's
just
nice
the
to
2
get
of
away.
us. Yeah,
but what a cool way to end the night, right? Like that was awesome. That really was. Okay, so as mentioned, something caught our attention this week that we saw online, and actually, we do have to mention. Scott brought this up of Vital Vegas when we first talked about it. I guess we didn't mention him. We started going through topics last episode. We didn't mention that he brought up the topic of the influencers not being allowed to record because of some other influencers at MGM Properties. Remember how all that started?
Yeah, I read it on Las Vegas Review because I don't do Twitter.
Okay.
And so I'm not a Twitter person. I don't see that kind of stuff, but I scroll Facebook, and Las Vegas Review had put out something about it, and that's what sparked our conversation. You had said you saw it, so you must have saw Scott.
What I found interesting is I started looking more into it, right? Now, friends have mentioned this particular person and his slot channel and how he charges people to get with him to learn how to win, essentially, at a slot machine. I found all of this very interesting, or that MGM's property in general was having a problem with this guy in the first place, right? So it brings so much more to light because we just seen this week the community was very openly judgmental, right? And you brought
you brought it to my attention because I'm really just a Facebook girl, and other than that, I'm not. I need to get better on venturing out to other social media platforms, and
so do I.
Yeah, whatever. You're
Instagram.
on
Instagram shit.
But you're on the other side, so you see more, and I need to be better about that. But if I sound on Facebook, I don't really see it. So you brought me YouTube, and you said I need you to watch these videos.
So what's more interesting than everything is there's a $250,000 slot tournament being held at the Wynn, December, I think it's 15, 16, 16, 17, something like that. Okay, but it's being held by this guy named D Lucky. Right. Now, this channel has been booming over the last, I don't know, 6 months that I've seen, year maybe. I don't know. I've never watched this guy's channel.
I see it. He shows up on my Facebook Reels. That's the only reason I knew who he was, and it's called D Lucky Jackpot. It shows random people putting money in a machine, and within like 2 or 3 pools, they win a jackpot.
Yes.
I didn't really think anything of it until you brought me this video.
Well, what makes it all even more interesting, I saw Adam Travel Fanboy was mentioning this Professor Slots, right? So Professor Slots is one that got on his radar, which I had heard of Professor Slots when his podcast came out years ago and about what he does. And he claims to have this PhD and he knows the slots, but his PhD is in engineering and in aviation. So none of that I found relevant. But at the same time, he was going to tell you how to win and how the different slots operate in different states and the ways to win and beat them, all this, right? And one of the big parts of his whole spiel was he's got this 5-pool system. You play a machine for 5 pools, move on. If it does, he lost me there, right?
Right.
I stopped listening years ago. Turns out he's now got a YouTube channel with 40,000 subscribers, right? And I'm like, what? Right? Yeah. That's way more than I could even claim, right? So I'm like, let me look at some of this stuff. And it's all the same stuff. Yeah. And he has this packages and stuff where he charges you to learn how to win and what his theories are on finding winning slots. Same thing with D Lucky. It's the same premise, right? Well, D Lucky right now has packages that you could sign up for $1,800 to play with him in a random casino of his choice, right? And get the D Lucky experience, which is figuring out which machines you're going to win on and getting hand pay. But
and I think that's just what I don't understand is the premise of the videos that you had me watch was I'm going to pay somebody $1,800 to record me to spend $3,000 to $5,000 of my own money. Mm-hmm. And there's a chance like anybody else that walks into a casino to win. Right. I don't have a better chance because it's, a random machine.
Right.
But he's going to video me.
But it doesn't stop there. So the main package, which is $1,800, you're going to learn in that package the slot lingo, the denominations, and multi-denomination slot machines, including penny slot machines and his theories. Okay. So, and then for $199, which is also the beginner's penny package, you're going to get the penny slot tips for newbies, and that these are the slot tips that D Lucky uses around the world. And I've noticed he doesn't play around the world. He plays in Vegas casinos. But the first time I ever seen this name mentioned or advertised was driving back from Las Vegas. There's a billboard of D Lucky.
Really?
Check his it says just like that. It's got the thumbs up and it's his like maybe avatar, I guess it's called. Apparently he's from LA. Okay, so that's what coincides that he's hitting the traffic on the way home, whatever. His packages are to learn how to win at the slot machines, right? Now, what makes it even more interesting is when you sign up for these packages, it doesn't, you just go meet at the casino. There's a process. You don't know which casino you're going to play at or which machine you're going to play, right? And also, you're passed off to people within the casino in the high limit rooms like it's a game. So there's other people involved in this, and apparently MGM caught on to it and don't want him you know, playing at their properties because he's charging people to play with him right at their property, which makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
But you can't forget about the $2.99 package, which is how to play the popular slot machines. Like Lightning Link, Dragon Link, and Top Dollar. What's even more interesting is, like he says, the casinos all over the world. I've watched a lot of videos, right, on this specific channel. I've noticed it's always the same machines.
Right.
It was always the same properties. One thing that I found even more interesting throughout all of this, and it was brought up by Easy Life, I think that was the channel, his YouTube channel. He said that there's proof that this guy's purchasing all his followers and subscribers on YouTube. So he's purchasing the followers. So right now, Wynn sees that this guy has whatever 3 million, 5 million on YouTube, and sees that he has 15 million on Instagram, but follows 0, right?
Right.
So they see this, but they still set up this tournament with him. And it just goes to show somebody didn't do their homework there, because there's a lot going on that's sketchy. And you'd figure these casinos talk to one another, right?
Well, you also figure like they're going to get a 2-night stay and a swag bag or something like this.
Right.
$3,500 entry, 100 participants. That's $350,000. They're giving away $250 of the $1,000 of the $350. You know, rooms do not cost $100,000. You know what I mean? And being that, you know, he's sponsoring this tournament, or, you know, then it's in his namesake, they're probably gave him a great deal on room blocks if he's doing this, you know, hosting this tournament or whatever. So where is all this extra money going to? Question mark.
Yeah, it's so it's on the 16th and 17th. The cost to get in is $3,500.
Yep.
The grand prize is $100,000. The 2-night stay and a buy-in for one person. Yeah, but I mean, there's just so much to it. Even the other thing where you can pay $1,000 to have a 15 to 30 minute experience.
Yeah.
And included as a thumbs up opportunity in the swag bag.
Right.
Like, what kind of shit is that?
Right.
I don't understand any of it. I'm like, how did Wynn not see this one?
No, and when I would see his Facebook reels, I thought it was interesting that, like, oh, he's videoing other people hit jackpots. Okay, that's interesting.
Never shows himself type thing.
I did not know they're paying $1,800
that makes it worse.
For the experience, and then they're expected to bring $3,000 to $5,000 of their own money to play with. Yeah. And I'm like,
I mean, maybe it is a money pool. Maybe, because they could have used Brian Christopher, some other big channel that knows and does this thing frequently, right? But they went with this, which I found so interesting, because there is now people putting videos out on social media of their experience and how it's not what it seems to be.
Right.
So the videos are now coming out of people who have lost, and hey, they basically tell you, hey, I've went in and I dropped 3,000 in 15 minutes and that's it. It's over. Yeah. It's over now. Like, that was it. That was my experience. And there's groups of these people, and obviously we're not recording those, but at the same time, you're only promoting winnings, which for people nowadays is super gullible to go and invest $1,800 to spend 10 minutes with this guy to potentially hit a jackpot. Like, that's crazy to me.
And he's not a celebrity. Like, if it was, you know, for me, like, if it was Derek Jeter or, you know, somebody that I just dying to meet, maybe it's worth it for me to go to just get a picture, regardless of what the experience is. Yeah. He's not a celebrity.
I mean, maybe this is going to be, wow. Maybe this is a way of, you know, he starts marketing himself into the Las Vegas industry. But I was like, how did they not see this? I mean, the community went nuts on social media. Right. I was like, wow, Wynn's got to see everybody. I mean, even Wynn's loyal, faithful stayers are like, hey, come on now, like, this is disappointing. And I was like, you know what, if it's getting enough attention right now to where people are actually gullible and doing this, I want to make sure at least our listeners are aware of this, not falling for this kind of shit, because again, at the end of the day, it's still, you know, your odds are still the same whether you're gonna win or not. You're just now putting $2,000 in front of that just to get that chance with this guy. Like, come on, man. Don't fall for shit like that.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. And if you feel differently, we would love to hear from you. Like, I would love to hear both sides of the story.
Yeah,
like, if you
maybe
think
you have one, who knows? Yeah, maybe you did win.
If you got good experience from him, or you thought you learned something. Like, I'm only looking at what I've read about slot machines, that, you know, random number generator, you don't have more of a chance. Everybody has the same chance. It's all about timing, all about pushing buttons. From what I have read, there's no way to beat a machine.
No.
Even and so
full-time slot players.
Right, and so part of me is curious on what tips he's giving out that can be backed up by factual evidence.
Yeah,
or if he's just feeding bullshit, in my opinion, you know, because what I've read from factual IGT, Aristocrat, Atronic, like, they're telling people this is a game of chance.
Yeah, 100%.
There is no way to beat our system. And they're manufacturing these machines. I believe them. Yeah. You know?
My friends, all you need to know is random number generator. That's what a slot machine comes down to.
Yeah.
Nothing's guaranteed with it. You don't know the game better than the game. I mean, that's just the way it is at the end of the day. So,
and of all slot influencers, I love Brian Christopher best. I'll say, like, I mean, there's I am partial to him,
good ones.
And he will tell you the same thing. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. Too. It's all about when you push the button. Yeah. You know, there's no way to beat it.
I mean,
you know?
there's
some days you're luckier than others.
Yeah.
There's a lot of channels I love watching,
and they tell you and show you their losses and wins, losses. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's Slot Queen does it. She shows you her losses. Like, that's and they're real straight up about it.
And you don't want to give people a false representation of. Every time I'm on, I'm winning. You know, because it's factually, it just doesn't happen for anybody.
Right. So, needless to say, we will see you guys December 16th and 17th at the Wynn. I'm just kidding. Don't fall for this stuff, guys. Yeah, but I'd love to get your guys' feedback on all of this, because I find this is something to talk about, cover, and make sure you guys are aware of as just being a listener of this podcast, because that's not something I gel well with. I'm like, no, I don't feel like there's no real quality in you giving the money up front and just to have the opportunity to gamble with this person. Your odds are still the same.
I honestly, I don't think, and I think we talked about this, or I mentioned it, I don't think the tournament in itself is a horribly bad deal.
Yeah.
Because top prize is $100,000. So if you have these funds and you're willing to risk $3,500 to be a 1 in 100 chance of winning $100,000, those aren't bad odds. It's better than the lotto.
Right.
You know, but if $3,500 doesn't mean a lot to you, if it's a change in your pocket kind of deal, those aren't bad odds.
No, it's more the paying up front to do these packages, sign up for all the side business. Don't do any of that.
Yeah, the tournament itself it's not a bad investment, you know, considering your chances are 1 in 100 of winning a decent prize.
And if you're curious, I mean, I can tell you which casinos he played at and frequented before he got kicked out of MGM. He plays a lot at the Wynn. He plays these gold machines, and it's always the same games. If you guys look at the channel, you'll see it's the same repetitive games, same machines, same places, and recently it's been one place. Well, so you'll see I
thought it was super interesting too that these guys that, you know, got on TikTok or whatever and gave their review,
right,
they said they're like, we expected to be like at a top property like Resorts World, Wynn, somewhere, and at the last minute we ended up at El Cortez.
Yes,
you know, it's like, it was interesting that he said that the casino changed to a downtown, because not high limit rooms.
It makes it all more interesting. You don't know where you're going to meet up. You don't know what's set. You're just getting a text the day of and where to meet and where to be at. Right. Like that's shady to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's shady.
It was interesting. And one more thing is, I want to say one of those things I watched, most people sign like a non-disclosure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right? 100%. Yeah.
I want to say that somebody said that, and these people were like, we're talking about it anyways. Fuck it. We paid. But I thought that was crazy too. Like, why am I going to sign something saying I'm not going to tell it's just crazy.
So because you mentioned those, we're going to add those in too. Here are the audio clips from both of those videos where these guys are telling you what their experience was like.
I think it's time for a story time. So the way you book D-Lucky is you go online and you book it for a fee. I paid $1,500. This was a couple months ago. Right now it's $1,800. What that includes is a 15-minute experience. So I booked him for 11-11. You know, angel numbers, good luck numbers. So what happens is the day before, somebody will text you and say, hey, meet me over here. You got to sign papers. So you go over there, you sign the papers, and they tell you, okay, tomorrow morning, you're going to get a text message about the location at Resorts. I can definitely tell who are the people waiting to see D-Lucky. They're all like, ready. Mind you, out of 8 of them, 6 of them were local people. Then I'm instructed to go to the cashier and get 3 to 5 $1,000 tickets. So finally, I'm called. This guy brings me over to the high limits. Then he passes me off to another guy who brings me into the high limits. Then he passes me off to another guy who shows me what machine I'm going to play on. Then he tells me, D-Lucky's going to be with you in a minute. So I look around and I see him. D-Lucky is like chilling, feet up on the slot machine, on his phone, not a care in the world, chilling. So I meet him. He does the whole thing. Oh, tell me your name. Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. So I do all of that, and we sit at a top dollar machine. $1,000 ticket, nothing. Second $1,000 ticket, nothing. Third $1,000 ticket, nothing. And he's like, can you come back tonight at 6 o'clock? And I said, I can. I'm going to the Post Malone concert. And he looks at me, he's like, oh, okay. And walks away. Just walks away. So my heart is broken. So I'm walking out, and I see the family in front of me. I talk to them. They want nothing. They talk to the people in front of them. Nothing. The people in front of them. Nothing. While we're talking, we're waiting. Another group comes out. Nothing. Another group comes out. Nothing.
Okay, so that was the first one. This is the next one. Watch this.
Okay, we're at the El Cortez. We just met up with D-Lucky. We got our experience tonight at 8:15 p.m. at the Wynn. So this is to see if it's real or our fake. We're about to see. What do you think? Is it the real deal?
Real deal. Hey, man.
We'll come back tonight, but it's time to expose and see what's going on. Man, so we got the confirmation it was at the Wynn to be there 30 minutes early. Just waking up to get ready, and we get a text saying, change of plans. It got switched to El Cortez. If anybody knows Vegas, they know El Cortez on Fremont is trash, and nobody wins there. So why are you going to move us from a $1 billion hotel to that? Guess we're going to see. We're ready. Headed to El Cortez, see if it's really just like that. Hey, how was your D-Lucky experience?
And win, man. Not guaranteed. So can't be mad. It's part of fucking gambling.
Hey, basically what he's trying to say is, hey, we didn't hit nothing. Not a damn dollar. Hey, I will say he hooked it up with drinks. It was open bar, but fuck, man. Yeah, D-Lucky experience got us $0. In fact, we lost fucking everything. So to all the people that wondered if it was real or not real, at least for us, it wasn't real.
Yeah, so we found both of those videos very, very interesting. I mean, when we watched them, I was like, babe, you got to see some of these videos on what's being said, because I think we should cover a little bit of this on the podcast. So, guys, I hope you're finding all of this stuff interesting. If you are, let us know via social media. Let us know on our iTunes reviews. Leave us a comment on social media. Make sure you're checking out our YouTube channel. We got another video of Carbone coming out today as well. So there's a lot of stuff going out here from us. We're going to be in Vegas next week. A lot of cool stuff happening. And it looks like we're now visiting Lotus of Siam. And what's the other place?
Goodwich. I want to go see there.
Oh, man.
I want to have some good sandwich.
It's a really good spot. So, again, until next time, my friends, we will chat with you guys soon. Thank you so much for listening this week. We did take the extra week off for Thanksgiving. That was really nice to just sit back, enjoy the fam, not have to do anything for once. So, we're glad to be back. Till next week, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.